intersections, and
Already.
yes, they're already closed down. So you can see the officers heading to their vehicles. You see motorcycle police, so they will be making their way, escorting that ambulance to the medical examiner's office downtown. And we have a team of reporters covering this from all angles tonight. We will be taking you along for the ride on this procession. So we will be checking in with them as this gets started. But as you see right now, those officers leading to line up.
Let's go over, some of the things that were said in the media update. Mayor Cavalier Johnson saying that he can't think of anyone more brave, more honorable than Officer Corder. He asked the people of Milwaukee to realize that MPD officers swore an oath to protect our community, and then he repeated this phrase, from the beginning until the end. From the beginning until the end, and especially maybe poignant as we see the end of Kendall Corder here, and he will be honored throughout the city and the state, and by his brotherhood throughout the country.
By all accounts, he loved being a police officer. We heard that reiterated just in that short media update that we saw at the top of the hour. And both he and his partner had 6+ years on the force here in Milwaukee. So dedicated and experienced law enforcement responding to that call. And that just shows officers do a very dangerous job. Any call can be a dangerous call. You never know what you're walking into.
A couple of things from Jeffrey Norman. He mentioned, I believe on Saturday, that the officer that was injured couldn't wait to get back out there and get back going with his duties. And then Chief Norman again with a message from the family, from the Corder family today, thanking everyone for all their prayers and support. And then, as you said, mentioned that Officer Corder loved being an officer. He loved Team MPD. That was the exact phrasing from the chief, Team MPD.
Well, and now we're taking a side-by-side picture here so you can see the scene in the smaller box of what is happening at Freighter. We have that ambulance there waiting to leave to transport Officer Corder to the medical examiner's office. And then in the wider shot, you see outside the medical examiner's office, which will be the final destination for this particular procession tonight. And I mean, we're not seeing it right now, but there is a huge American flag hoisted up on a ladder truck there. You do see people lining the streets.
Yeah, it looks like this procession is about to begin. Presumably, Officer Corder has been lifted into the ambulance, and we will start that procession to North 9th Street at the ME's office downtown.
Now, when we got our first media update in the wee hours of Friday morning after this shooting happened on Thursday night. I know you've been talking about this all weekend long, but we have been hearing about staffing issues at MPD and the danger of not having enough officers. But, MPD pushing back a little bit on that, talking about how they could put an officer on every corner in this city, but the number of guns on the streets are what makes this so intensely dangerous.
Yeah, that was the quote from the Assistant Chief, Nicole Waldner. So, and here we see it. The procession is beginning right now to transport Officer Corder to the ME's office. All right, there you have it. The motorcycles left, and now here the ambulance comes transporting Officer Corder. There will be a procession of dozens, hundreds actually, of vehicles in a massive show of support for the trip to the ME's office.
And this is always a very solemn sight.
Yeah. See people there. There we go. There is, we've now flipped over to outside the ME's office. This is the destination. I believe those are Milwaukee firefighters or members of the Milwaukee Fire Department showing their support for Officer Corder, which is standard. First responders,
that's right,
in a time of need,
that's right,
stick together.
Yeah, I mean, they have been talking about this for the last few days as well, how this is a brotherhood and a sisterhood, and you know, it's very, very difficult. We can't imagine what Officer Corder's family is going through, but you know, this takes a toll on his fellow officers and first responders. I mean, this is a difficult thing, and so you know, we've been seeing them gathering at Freighter. They gathered there overnight on Thursday. We saw them there yesterday for the release of Officer Corder's partner, his 29-year-old partner, who was released from the office yesterday. There you see U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force officers. So this is law enforcement and first responders from across a wide variety of agencies, all coming and showing up there. But I feel like outside the medical examiner's office, when we're panning around, you can see there's normal citizens there too.
Indeed, and something from Alexander Ayala, that is the president of the Milwaukee Police Association, in the press conference or the news conference you heard just minutes ago, wrap your arms around our family in blue, and it appears firefighters, U.S. Marshals, normal citizens, the entire city of Milwaukee will be doing that over the next few days.
All right, we are back now at Freighter as the line of patrol cars continues to pull out of that hospital. Once again, they will head to the interstate for that drive, and since we touched on that earlier, maybe we want to reiterate what that route looks like, Bill, just to give people a sense of what roads might be impacted and kind of where they can see this procession taking place.
Yeah, indeed. Let me pull that up real quick. Yes, okay. West Connell Avenue to 87th Street, then a left onto westbound Watertown Plank Road. From there, it'll be 4145 South. And then they'll take that down to 94 East. They'll take 94 East to James Lovell Avenue and continue north on Lovell to westbound State Street, and then finally taking a right onto northbound 9th Street.
And as you can see, we've been talking for a few minutes since the motorcycle officers and the ambulance pulled out, but these cars just keep coming. So expect this procession to take a little while just because so many officers are taking part.
According to the Officer Down Memorial page, 36 line of duty deaths across the country in 2025, 20 of those by gunfire. Don't know if that was updated, but presumably those numbers will go up with the announcement about Officer Kendall Corder.
Well, it looks like we're going back to the medical examiner's offices. It looked like all of those cars have left Freighter, so we are looking again at the medical examiner's office where all of these officers and people have gathered to watch that procession arrive at the medical examiner's office.
Powerful scene.
It really is a sad scene, and this has been a sad, sad weekend for the city of Milwaukee.
Chief Jeffrey Norman, right off the top of our news conference, we are all in pain, and this is how the police department and everyone else processes this. We show our support and we show our love, and we tell the family of Officer Kendall Corder that he will never be forgotten.
Well, and just a stressful span for these officers, as we've seen 3 Milwaukee police officers shot in the span of about 2 weeks. Fortunately, 2 of those officers have survived, but this is a reality they face every day.
And after 2018, you know, the city of Milwaukee had gone 22 years without a line of duty death, and then you know, a string of I guess bad luck is the way I can only phrase it right now, but you know, a series of 5 in just a few years, which is not obviously what any city wants to have happen.
Well, and right now you are taking a look at some Department of Transportation cameras, some DOT video of the interstate where we expect to see that procession start coming. There we go, on the far side of your screen. You can see at the top of the screen there the procession getting on the interstate. So they are making their way, and again, watch for roads and on-ramps, off-ramps to be closed right now as this procession makes its way to the medical examiner's office. Again, we do have crews along the way, so we will be checking in with them, but this video gives you just a little bit of perspective of just how long that line of cars is as it enters the interstate.
Let me make sure I have this correct. 6 officers killed within MPD in the line of duty since 2018, less than 10 years. Charles Irvine Jr., June of 2018. Michael Mahalik killed July 25th, 2018. Matthew Rittner, February of 2019. Mark Lentz, after suffering an injury, September of 2019. Peter Jerving, killed February of 2023. And now Officer Kendall Corder, June of 2025. Back at the ME's office there, you see the lineup of police officers, firefighters, bystanders, U.S. Marshals, people there gathering to see Kendall Corder's destination, at least for the evening, until the funeral, where he is laid to rest with full police honors.
And we can, in most cases, expect a procession when he leaves the medical examiner's office to go to the funeral home, which, to your point from earlier, these officers are never alone. They
Indeed.
are with someone the entire time. So lots of pomp and circumstance when it comes to the final goodbye to a fallen police officer killed in the line of duty.
Yeah, one wonders, you know, the Milwaukee Police Department Honor Guard never wants to be deployed in this case, but
No.
you know, that sense of honor to keep watch over a fallen officer, but, you know, the extreme sorrow, taking turns staying with that fallen officer at all hours.
All right, CBS 58's Adam Reif is live at the medical examiner's office for us, and he's been following this since it happened on Thursday night. We are going to go out and check in with him. Adam, what can you tell us from there?
Well, Natalie, we can hear the radios from these first responders, and so they are getting regular updates of where the procession is right now as it works its way east towards downtown. About 35 to 40 firefighters are lined up here at the corner of 9th and State, and then as more police officers and personnel arrive, they are queuing up along 9th as well. Firefighters are starting to close in on the street as they prepare. It was about 15 minutes or so ago when they were just wrapping up the news conference at the hospital when there was a formal order for people to start getting ready. Just listening into the radios here, so they're still on the highway as they are getting regular updates. But we're seeing police officers in uniform, we're seeing detectives in plain clothes, we're seeing office workers, civilian staff from MPD. You're also seeing families that just live nearby that are not connected to MPD at all. Everybody knows that this is the area for the final journey, and as the firefighters start to fall into line, the police officers have been as well. It's a lot of emotion. We've seen a lot of people hugging each other, a lot of tears. Some people had been bracing for this news since it happened on Thursday night, but to finally have it makes it no less difficult, and so people are really struggling with it. Others are just stony-faced and not showing a lot of emotion, but it doesn't matter if they're in uniform or not. A lot of people are just very stoic and taking this very hard. Though we have gone through this before, it is difficult every single time. And so we have the fire trucks in place, as you can see. We have everyone lining the streets, but that's the case for several blocks around this area as they are going to take the car past MPD headquarters, a block and a half from us. It'll come over here past all of these firefighters. We often see a very solemn and emotional salute from the first responders as the cars go by. And then we also have the civilians as well, who have brought children sometimes, and imagine trying to explain this tragedy to that boy there in the red shirt who's so young he may not understand. But for the officers who've been through this before, it's a very difficult moment, of course, and for the past couple of days they have been hanging on every bit of news, hoping for recovery. When we first spoke with the police union president on Thursday night, at the time, unfortunately, he thought both officers would pull through, and that just goes to show the amount of difficult information and confusion that is in those first few moments after something like this happens. Unfortunately, that was not the case, and after Officer Corder died, we're now starting to see this showing. And so a lot of the top brass have started to ramp up, some of the organizational staff as well, as people get ready for this procession to arrive. Still a few moments away, but they are ready.
Adam, Adam, we can tell you that that procession is heading east on 94, passing Hawley Road right now. When that procession left Frederick Hospital, of course, you saw all of the motorcycle officers leading the pack. So that is what we are seeing now. The ambulance carrying Officer Corder to the medical examiner's office. And then, of course, the line of patrol cars and SUVs that is following on as well. But heading downtown right now. And as Adam said, everyone there waiting for that arrival.
Yeah, should be there. The ambulance should be there in, I would say, roughly about 10 to 12 minutes.
Yeah.
And will be greeted by a massive show of support from, again, MFD, Milwaukee Police, bystanders, well-wishers, people who care about protecting this community.
That's right. And by all accounts, that was Officer Corder. And we heard that just at the top of the hour from the police chief, the mayor, the president of the police union, all talking just about his dedication to the community, his public service, and how much he loved being a Milwaukee police officer. So just a really, really sad few days here. This is hitting very hard.
Well, and someone who loved the job, a job that can be incredibly difficult,
That's
as
right.
we all know, incredibly stressful, dealing with people in their worst moments, and the rules dictate that they still have to be at their best. An incredibly difficult job. You're taking a look right now at DOT cameras of the stadium interchange. We are seeing
The ambulance passing right now.
The front of the procession there, the ambulance flanked by all those motorcycle officers heading downtown.
You can see they cleared the way for this procession, closing off the interstate. So obviously some traffic issues to be aware of downtown right now, as those entrance ramps are closed to 94 as this procession makes its way. And yeah, just a really, really solemn sight. I mean, Adam mentioned the people who had brought children out. When we were showing the crowds there, that little boy did stand out to me because,
Right.
Someone so young coming to pay his respects with his family, and as Adam said, explaining what we're dealing with here. And, just a lot of frustration we've heard from the police office, Milwaukee Police, from the police union, from the city about the violence and the difficulties in dealing with that violence here on the streets. And there are no easy answers. And I just feel like that is one of the main messages, is that frustration we've been hearing from them over the last couple weeks.
Well, there are people who advocate for more officers. There are people who advocate for the elimination of illegal guns. There are so many ways to approach this. The mayor's office and city and police leaders saying we're trying to recruit as best as we can.
We've heard Mayor Cavalier Johnson literally ask people to step up, like, our applications are open. If you want to come make our streets safer, apply to be a Milwaukee police officer. So, as you said, such a complicated issue, a lot of factors going into it, but the end result is what we're seeing tonight, and it's a dangerous job here in the city. And there are the motorcycle officers leading the way on this procession. There is the ambulance making its way downtown, and the rest of this procession following along behind.
Might be good to just recap how we got here. Just after 9 Thursday night, officers headed to an area for a call about a person with a gun that turned into a report of shots fired. President of the police union describes what happened next as an ambush. While the officers were approaching, they were unexpectedly fired upon in the alley of the 2200 block of North 24th Place. Officers were both struck, not able to return fire. One officer was released from the hospital yesterday. Officer Kendall Corder died from the injuries he sustained late Thursday night. That announced late this afternoon, and you are seeing the procession on the way to the medical examiner's office. We will take the live picture right now, I believe, of the medical examiner's office and the lineup of people waiting for Officer Corder.
And just talking about those recruitment efforts, Milwaukee Police did bring in a new class of 25 police recruits on June 17th of this year. So, it does seem like they are trying to fill those classes up, and train as many officers, get them ready to serve their community as they can, but just an ongoing effort.
Well, and it is a stressful job. It is not for everybody. That's why it is such doubly, triply, quadruply a shame to lose someone who loved their job.
That's right.
Who saw the benefit in it, who wanted to be a force for good, who wanted to literally embody, protect, and serve.
So the chief also asking for people to send up some prayers for Officer Corder's family, because this has been a very difficult few days for them, given the significance and severity of his injuries, and you know, kind of waiting to see what was going to happen here in the outcome of that shooting on Thursday night.
There is a link on our website as well for people to donate for a fundraiser to help the two officers and their families. That link is on cbs58.com.
And just taking a look at the different camera angles, you know, you can see on people's faces the sadness and the stress of this, and just also the sheer number of people who have come out. The show of support and community from the law enforcement community, from Milwaukee Fire Department, all first responders, and you see them starting to salute their, one would think potentially, yes, they're starting to see that procession come in.
All right, let's send it out to Adam Reif, who is live at that site on the scene. Adam?
It was just about 10 seconds ago that all uniformed personnel were ordered to stand at attention as the first motorcycles arrive here at 9th and State, as this procession arrives downtown. Very somber here. No one's speaking amongst the uniformed personnel for the fire department or police department. All looking straight ahead, arms at their sides. Many of them have black bands around their badges already. We saw a few of them pinning them on each other in honor of Officer Corder. Order now for present arms and the salute. So the first batch of officers has come around on their motorcycles, others coming now, and here comes the ambulance after the escort. Hands over hearts for many of the civilians. Others have phones out to take pictures. Everyone is saluting and standing at attention as this ambulance now gets ready to turn left into the medical examiner's office. No one has moved. Though the ambulance has passed them, the police cars continue. Detectives and top brass coming in some of these vehicles. I also see what could be family. These are not uniformed personnel. There are some young people in the cars. We don't know for sure, but they also have their phones out, taking some pictures and video of the response in honor of Officer Corder. You're now seeing the ambulance start to take a wide turn. It is going to back into the ME's office. I will tell you that earlier we've seen a variety of dress for all of the personnel here, some of them on duty, many of them off, but there's a receiving party, for lack of a better term, outfit in their top